here on Data Bytes with Marc Haddle, co-founder of DataSolids. Now, they are a pod cloud type data storage for individuals to take back and take control of their own healthcare data. But before we got on, Marc, you said something that just really resonates with me, and I want you to talk about it a little bit, and then I'll talk about my experience and how I learned just how true this is, because I don't think people in business who don't have a data or computer science or software engineering background realize that it's not the AI that you need to be worried about in the front end. It's not the AI that's going to make you successful or not. It's data and how clean and hygienic and parsed and pipelined and like all the stuff that I started this podcast because of, and I'll talk more about that. But just talk about in general, like how much do you think people are missing the mark or misinformed on the importance of data governance when it comes to leveraging artificial intelligence, machine learning, agentic AI?
I think they really just, I think they're aware of it, but they kind of step over it because, there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of buzz. There's a lot of cool factor right now. And who wants to be a buzzkill by, starting to think about all the nuts and bolts and all the back of the baseball card, stuff that, no one wants to really think about. They know it's important. They know they can't ignore it. But right now, let's just get excited about the party right now that, AI is going to make us all taller, smarter, and get the weeds out of our lawn. No one wants to, acknowledge that right now. But you need to understand that, language models, AI, is basically, taking enormous amounts of data and distilling that into something that is usable. And you've got, and it's ever evolving, and it is a beast that has to constantly be fed. You need fresh data, you need new data, so to where the model can come in and say, yes, based on the data that we have, this was true, because our freshest data is 3 years old. And a lot of things have happened back then, but we don't have new data. And again, so that's going to, again, cause what they call model collapse, or you'll have more hallucinations, more of the things that people realize but don't acknowledge when it comes to AI and stuff. But right now, it's, patients are starting to realize that, my health data is being used in ways that were not communicated to me, and I did not agree or consent to. And, and it's starting to raise a lot of questions when it comes to secondary use. The patient, have you given the hospital system the, permission for the secondary use of your data? And hospitals can come back and say, well, before we do anything with it, we are going to de-identify it. We're going to remove anything that would, that would point this data back to you. And in doing so, we've now created something else. So it's now something different. It's now property. It's now, it's not data anymore. And that's really how they get around it right now. And it does pass legal muster because, yeah, I suppose, but patients are now like, well, I don't know how much money you're making on my data, but I know none of that is flowing back to me. And
that's interesting.
Yeah.
You see this with the large language models too, right? You mentioned this in another segment. Like if you're not paying for it with money, you're paying for it with your data. And like in my paid ChatGPT account, I can turn off train on my data. Now they don't tell everybody that you can go do that, right? But if you dig around in the settings, the security settings, I can say do not improve the model with my data. Now I don't do that in anything that's not like direct work where I would be violating something, because I think I'm one drop in a sea of a billion people that they're surveying, and I'd rather the model get better. But if you've got anything like seriously, if you're going in and talking about your mental health with your chat bot, talking about your physical health, and you're in a free OpenAI account, like it's training on your data. It is consuming your data. And I have a story I want to tell you for one of our last segments. Just my journey with starting to understand how important data is, and I'd love to get your feedback on it here on the next segment. You good with that?
Yeah.
All right.